I hope we will be right now fine as we are live as well. But yes, long story short, thanks a lot, everyone, for being here. Really appreciate your time and your engagements during the Sundays as well. But we really appreciate that you are here with us. First of all, foremostly that right now we'll speak about COP, we will speak about whatever happened. But I'm really glad that Energy Working Group, especially, was very intact with different engagements. This year we had engagement not just in terms of political level, but also in private and government level as well, which was really great. And thanks a lot for all the entire team. It's not just the team that worked on the ground. It's always the team who worked 24/7 with us. So thanks a lot to entire team. I'm really glad that we work together this year. I know that this year is going to be end, and most of us will have to hand over the tenures. But I would really love to say thank you to everyone for making this happen, especially our team, especially the people who are here working 24/7 with us. But yes, without further ado, I will start with the session, and this session will be not same as other sessions, because of course, like, you can get all the informations everywhere. Like, literally, you want to get like what happened in COP, you can get in ChatGPT or Google or whatsoever. You can read it through, but we will go through each and every aspects where exactly what happens. Like, if something going through COP, what happened afterwards, what we will do with the documentations, what are the documentations, where, how we will implement those documentations further. And and if we have those kind of like documents like the global stock take, then we have our own documents for policies. So what happens, those like those demands to, like, where we should put our demands, where we should have our advocacies. We should have the advocacies, not the noises, not to make noises, of course. So this is how we will go through it, and we will go through it with each and everyone. We will like open the floor to everyone to just have some discussions. You can learn about this global Mutirao. You can learn about the global goal of adaptations and Sharm el Sheikh and mitigations and everything. But how many of us knows about this Belém package, political package? So those kind of things we will discuss. And of course, we have made a lot of slides. We will not go through each and every slides, just because to make sure that the time consumes. But we have more than 60 slides, I guess. But I'll make sure that we will not go through each and every slides, and whatever important we'll go through. First and foremost, yes, thanks a lot. This is me and Amera. And as we said, what happens to the global Mutirao draft decisions? What is Mutirao? The Mutirao means like unity, coming together, right? So this is what we'll do. And of course, and when we go in towards the key initiatives launched in COP30, we will speak about it. First of all, the global implementation accelerations. The second is Belém mission for 1.5. Third is just transition mechanism, and fourth is high level ministerial round table, which are the initiative that has been launched. But it's not just it. As we say that every movies as well have a trailer, so this is just a trailer that we showed you what will happen in the entire sessions. But mostly, when we explored the implications and next step for youth energy policies, we have seen a lot of remarkable transitions and climate dialogues everywhere. In the news, in announcing agreements, interpretations, actionable agendas. But what happens after this chaos? Because we have seen the chaos has went down. Um, a lot of informations, a lot of documentations to be followed. But right now, what happens right now? So sorry, I was trying to get in someone. So specifically, with the objective of today's session is shaping the agenda, which is the factors, energy specific political signals. We have a lot of political signals, but we cannot speak for every agenda, every thematics. We'll only speak about the energy and cross cuttings, like the global Mutirao decisions, the global stock take, the Sharm el Sheikh mitigation, and other like carbon financing and also Article 6. But we will not go through each and every one in depth, but we will go through as a way that you know what to expect from COP31, and of course the SB64 which is coming. Going to the next slide. Sorry, the slide is taking too long. Yes. So the part one is the background. I think as a background, I can say if Amira wants to give a background, what is exactly COP processes, what is COP, if like who are new to us, it would be good. Amira, can you hear us? Thanks a lot, Amira. Just to make sure that we are not like running around, how many people knows about the COP, and how many people really wants to know about the COP30 process? Like what was the difference between the COP30 and other COPs, and what exactly it is COP is? If I can see some writing in the chat, like if you want to know about, if you want to know more about COP, just write Y. If you don't want to know about COP, just write N, so that it give us a proper read on the room that how many people knows about the COP, so that we can go in depth or not.
So I think we can go giving them a brief about what is Conference of Parties. COP is a stand for Conference of Parties, and it's an annually event that's happening and hosted by the UNFCCC. And UNFCCC is the United Nations framework for climate change. So this is the main event for climate change and for discussing the climate change issues, and to collect all of countries that already signed on the Paris Agreement to cut carbon emissions and to make the planet temperature is less than 1.5 degree. And I think maybe most of us already heard maybe one time or more about 1.5 degree framework. So COP generally is focusing on these areas, focus on climate, environmental, sustainability, and focusing especially on how can we find a fund to fund the environmental projects, how can we make a balance between developing and developed countries on the framework of climate change or the climate action work. It's the main idea of this conference is to have all of the parties together on the same table to speak and to find a collective solution for this issue. The COP30 is one of the COPs, and 30 is that means that is the third one, 31. So there's other 30 COPs that happened already. The last one was in Paco in Azerbaijan, and next one will be in Turkey in Antalya. And this COP30 was in Belém in Brazil in the Amazon. And selecting this area was meaningful somehow because the Amazon is the most important and protected area in the world that helped all the planet to cut the carbon emissions. So it was a meaningful selection for happening I think there is all, and maybe yeah, this COP30 was focusing more on developed countries and on collect funding and fund for these countries to resist the climate change hazard and to help these communities to adapt and make adaptation plans for the new crisis that happening for them. And I think Saikat will be with you to break down the agenda itself of the conference.
Thank you, Amera. Thanks a lot. It was really quite comprehensive. First of all, to know what happened, we should know what exactly supposed to happen. So there are two aspects. The agenda always breaks down into one is like what is the negotiations going on, how many terms of negotiations, which are the definitely like our agendas, like just transition, and then we have article 6, what are the negotiation points, right? So we have agenda items, but exactly how many people we know that how many people of us know that COP also have some action agendas, which are the action agenda of the presidency, right? What are the main points of the presidency that we should go like we should know? So the main point, few of them are which was climate finance and loss and damage this year. Also, we have this just transition work program, which the civil societies, mostly the CAN and other YOUNGO and everyone went there, and we say it as a BAM, which is Belém Action Mechanism, and also it comes under the just transition work program. The role of substantial governments, where we saw that a lot of initiatives, I think more 189 or more than 180 initiatives were come together, right? And those were been operationalized. So those are global initiatives that has been put towards and operationalized. And also we have the nature and biodiversity protection, which is of course the Amazons and other indigenous people. Everything comes under it. So those one of the action point as well. Knowledge sharing, capacity building, and of course the fossil fuel phase out as well is one of those. So we have those kind of like action agendas. Those were targeted by COP30 presidency this year. And now we will see how many of them has been put forward as a adopted, like how many documentation, how many draft decisions from those action point has been adopted, right? So that's the long journey we will do together. So let's go one by one, not to make everyone very tiresome. The Belém Political Action Package is a package where you'll see what are the action has been taken in terms of agenda wise, like agenda in energy, in agenda is finance, agenda in just transition, and what were the options that has been given. There is an option point, and of course at the end what are the decision has been taken, adopted. So that's Belém Action Political Package. This package is really amazing. If you go to UNFCCC website, or if you like literally type the package, entire package will come. But to make it more crisp, to make it just more understanding, because it will take a lot of time to make it understand, we will do another session as well. There's a plan. But before understanding the package, we have to understand the process. We have to understand what are the elements that was there inside the package. So this is where we will discuss in this session. Global Mutirão draft decision is, so in every COP we have a special document which is involved with all the action points and with all the decision has been taken in that COP. For example, we have UAE. In UAE we have the UAE consensus. In Baku we have the Baku action point, Baku roadmap, and right now we have same for the COP30, which is Global Mutirão draft decision. As we know, the COP was also labeled as People's COP, also labeled as COP of truth, also level of COP of implementation. You can say many things about any COP, but the thing is, what exactly happened is they came together, they make it happen, and of course, whatever the outcome is, we tell that COP as one of the outcomes. So of course, the Mutirão COP happened. We will break down what are the decision has been taken inside the Mutirão draft decisions, because it's not just a document where new reforms or new agenda points has been taken. A lot of agenda points have been acknowledged from previous documents as well, from Baku, from UAE, from Glasgow. A lot of draft demands has been acknowledged, right, has been noted, but few of them, like very few, are been taken as a new adoption for the next year and upcoming years. So we'll speak what are the new one, right? Interpretation and implementation. So there are few agenda points where implementation has been done, right? So in terms of there's 2 years implementation acceleration process that has been taken. We will go through it as well. There are few implementation in terms of action points where they collected all the initiatives, all the global initiatives, and they collectively put forward, and they also like managed to gather information how much of finance that will be needed, right? It's just not the 1.3 trillions, it's just not the 300 billion that has been promised last year for the NCQGs. There is other finances as well which has been taken into consideration, and we'll also go through those kind of reforms, which we don't find it in Google or anywhere, just because we don't know those kind of ideas. And because when we don't know those kind of ideas, we cannot put forward our advocacy points, our advocacy plans, and that's where the communication gap belongs, right? So we'll try to minimize the communication gap as much as possible in terms of finances and other cross thematics which relates to energy as well, right? Of course, what happens to energy if you say like we are in energy, right? So these are the aspect that happens in energy, and also those are cross cuttings. Mostly we accelerate the climate actions. First of all, collaborative climate action across key systems has been taken, where the catalyzing transformation shifts for climate action, which amplifies collaborations for diverse sectors in energy, transportation, food, health, industry, finance, and oceans and education has been done, right? This kind of initiatives are run parallelly through those negotiations items and also in mandated events. Understand, it's not just one document that we always see, it's not just one negotiation room that we always see. There are cross cuttings and we always go with diverse sectors. This dialogues happens parallelly with the negotiations as well, right? So this collaborations results with tangible benefits for the nature, for the peoples. So those initiations we have to always stick with the documentations. But the most important is the $1 trillion pipeline that we always that has been assured in this energy transition. The $1 trillion pipeline is 6.24 trillion that has been projected in the market. So it is not only for the parties to give, it's also the private sector, the public sector come together, and the private, and of course all the documentations like NCQGs, we have other reforms collectively put forward, and then we saw that okay, there is an energy transition market where 6.24 trillion projections has been compounded annually, right? For renewable energy, can anyone say what is the target for 2030, where we say that tripling of renewables has to be done? What is the target of gigawatt or terawatt hour that has to be achieved while tripling this renewable energy? Anyone? Is it gigawatt?
That will be 11.2 million. That's Imad. I think that will be 11.2 trillion, if I'm not mistaken, because if we are taking 2.8 trillion times 4, beginning from 2026, it will give us 11.2 trillion.
Yes, it's near about 11.2 trillion. Perfect. And how much gigawatt hour or how much terawatt hour that we are targeting for 2030? because we have near last year, for an example, last year we had touched 585 something gigawatt hour in 1 year, and we also, like, the renewable energy investments has topped the fossil fuel subsidiaries and investment as well by 2 trillion, right? But when we are speaking about yearly expansion, and we are also speaking about targets, our target is tripling renewables by 2030. So what exactly the renewable tripling of renewables means? How much of terawatt hour we are speaking about? Anyone? Yes. So we are speaking about 11,200 terawatt hours, something like this. So it's 11,100 and something, but yeah. Yes, exactly. It's 11K, Vikrant. Amazing. So that's what we are talking about, and that's what we are targeting. So imagine the amount of market projections we need. Imagine the amount of collaborations and pathways we need. And it's not just about the clean and renewables as well. We have clean energies as well, which has to be clean and which has to be put forward in a way that it should be an energy mix. We have renewables, we have nuclear, we have hydrogen, but we need money for R&Ds as well. We need money for safeguarding. We need money for adjustments in terms of regional wise and sub-regional wise and community wise as well. So imagine the amount of finance we need, but with the finance we also need some kind of trajectory, like how the NDCs has to be put forward, how the NDCs has to be made as an informed one. In the last slide, just to give you a nudge, the last slide I made is very, very simple, but I made it in a way that, okay, it's an ingredient which we make a cake. So the cake is the NDCs, and the ingredients are the different adoptions, the different documentations, the different agenda, and how we should make the cake, right? And we will go through the entire recipe. And at the end you will understand how exactly the NDCs has to be made in terms of it should be informed and why it should be informed, right? So this is what we will go through together. Land use, ocean restoration efforts are really crucial for energies as well, just because we are inland, like the offshore winds and the offshore tidals and everything comes under an ocean, and also the land, because we use a lot of land as well, and it should be restored in a way that the investments which are going, it should be very clean. The investments which are coming, it should be very clean as well, because biodiversity comes in energy as well, because all the energy that we are talking about, renewables, or we are talking about clean energy, in fact nuclears and everything, it should be in a biodiversity conservation manner, ecosystem manner, and it should be healthy as well, right? So this is how entire mandated documentations you should go through. You will not just go through global stocktake, you will just not go through small paragraphs. You have to know and understand the meaning of other mandated events and other mandated reforms as well, in national and international level. So this is what we have to discuss now. Building resilience. How many of us know what exactly the meaning of resilience, and why we say the grid resilience has to make sure we put forward first before we maintain the grid? How many of us know about the meaning of resilience in energy?
I think it's it's the adaptation strategies that we have to that we have to implement in order to combat the climate change. For example, it's the simple techniques like which mitigates the bad impacts of the for example climate, like floods and other climate adverse effect of climate change.
Definitely, yes. So when we talk about numbers, right? So there is a lot of numbers that we can talk about, like the millions of people, billions of people, companies, cities. But what exactly those numbers relate? Those numbers relates to a proper planning that we have to do. So when we have structures or infrastructures, those infrastructure has to be maintained and put forward keeping in mind the people, right? Keeping in mind the stability, and keeping in mind how much flow of energy we should have. So when we talk about the centralized grids, we also have to talk about decentralized grids, because all the networks are not similar, all the grids are not networked properly, and if all the grids are networked properly, there's also a problem. If they're not networked properly, there's also a problem. So we have to understand how the resilience in terms of people, in terms of energy, because if you have a grid with all the renewable energy, what we will do with the problem of base capacity, right? So the baseline capacity has to be there. If we don't have any resilience into the grid, and we always get coal or other emitting energies into the grid, right? What we will do with that grid when this grid is not making any of the cities or any of the initiatives greener? Because if we have, for example, Tesla, right? And we are charging this Tesla from this kind of grids where there is a lot of coals. What is the meaning of it? Doesn't make any sense. Bernard, can you just mute yourself? Sorry. Yeah, perfect. Thanks a lot. So this is what those words and those numbers that we talked about, keep in your mind, just because then we will speak furthermore, more in details and in more technically, where those reforms connects with those numbers, right? So as I said, there are some kind of achievements that we don't know in terms of like those are not properly communicated, and you can only see those kind of numbers in when you read through all the outcomes in different way, because all the outcomes, for example, we have carbon brief, we have other sorry, I'm trying to admit as well people in the call by parallelly as well. Sorry, yes. When we talk about numbers, we talk about articles. Every article is has some kind of key focus. Some article has a focus with finances, some article has focuses with energy, some article focuses with different kind of aspects. But when we go through this kind of documents, you always have to make sure that you have some kind of parameters. Is called paradox, right? Every information should have a paradox, because every policy have a kind of like a reacting policy and active policies, correct? So when we talk about for example, the key achievements of COP30, the significance investments and emission reduction highlights have been progress in the climate. Willing, can you mute yourself? Sorry, so we are getting a lot of noise from you. Yes, perfect. Thanks a lot. So this emission reductions has investments which has to be triple, right? But in USD 1 trillion, the investment has been triple. Is it true? No. So investments 1 trillion was done in one go. That means in 1 year. We don't need in 1 year. We need every year it to be tripled by 1.3 trillion. If you remember that 1.3 trillion Baku roadmap has been done with an investments, and we need these investments for tripling of renewable capacity. But it's not just for energies or for other capacity, other reforms as well, because energy is a part of that reform. Energy is a part of those investments, right? So when you learn about this, so USD 9 billion has been committed for investment covering 210 billion hectares of lands, reaching 12 million farmers. Is it done? Is it given? Is it like just put forward to all the? It has been. Is it reached to the farmer? No. It's just committed, but we are seeing that this number has been kept inside the entire entire outcome number. So that means if you see overall, this 9 billion will be inside of 2.38 or whatsoever the billion that has been, they will say that, okay, we have achieved in COP30. No, it's not just achieved, it's just a commitment that has been done. The investment of tripling of renewable capacity, was it done? No, it has been going, it's ongoing, and it has been trajected that, okay, in further targets, we have 1 trillion of investment that to be done. So this is how you have to read between the lines. See, 850,000 tons of CO2 emission cut by 162 companies, cities. Was it cut? Was it cut only from the first, scope 1, scope 2, or scope 3? Was it a whitewashing? How they calculated it? So those kind of information that you have to always understand with this kind of numbers, right? There is also a part that's called part of a broader effort to surpass 1 million tons reduced, right? So 1 million tons, are we speaking about the tons which is been targeted or which has been already reduced, right? Because if we say reduced, is it targetedly reduced or it has been reduced in last year? Or what is the baseline? So this kind of information you always have to see. 437.7 million people increase their resilience on the Race of Resilience campaign. Is this 437.7 million included the 700 million people who are deprived of energy crisis? No, they are not. So what is the point? From where this 437.7 million comes from? These are the numbers which is from the Race to Resilience campaign. That means the campaigns that is been included inside COP30, which is like 180 campaigns that I told about. And those campaigns has changed some kind of lives, and those lives are 437.7 million lives, right? So this is how you have to read, like, between the lines. Understand? So now, question and answer. I don't want to make things only me. After this question and answer, we will go through the Mutirão decisions and the technical decisions. But before that, just open the floor for a discussion. You know, make each and everyone know who we are and what are the expectations.
Feel free to open your microphone and ask where you wanna.
Or anyone wants to give some kind of information that I have missed, it would be really amazing to learn as well from you guys.
Hi, can I just ask you? It's like it would be great if you could mention about the climate finance, and it could mention about how it is directly linked to the energy sector. That would be great.
Perfect. So as I said, climate finance right now has several names and several reforms. As we know, the SCF, which is HCF, which is the fund, Sustainable Climate Fund. We also have NCQG. Last year, what happened? We also have the fund for climate, which was 100 billion, which has been expired in it's supposed to expire in 2020, but of course it was then mobilized in 2022. But there's a lot of terms in climate finance. But where we talk about finance, tell me one thing, Abhinav, will there be any execution without financing?
No.
Of course. When we talk about climate finance, the climate finance crossly indulge into various articles, right? So Article 2.1, Article 9, Article 9.1 paragraph. So this will make your brain foggy. Don't go with this. Simple, we need finance from investment, so investment perspective. So that means the investment which is done by public and private, globally, nationally. So those kind of finance has to be come under the energy sector. How it will come? In example, a country XYZ. So this country has a subsidiary, like a subsidiary process, where you buy the energy from the government or the utility bodies. Those energy has some kind of subsidization from the government, which has been paid to the maybe the fossil fuel company, or maybe the company who is giving you the electricity, right? So this subsidy is used circularly by again the company to produce a lot of again the energy, right? So might be the energy is non-renewable, might be this renewable. But if we can transfer this finance from this this company, like the company which is emitting a lot, to a company which is greener, correct?
Yeah.
And then we are subsidizing this company to generate a lot of electricity, correct? So this company will generate a lot of electricity with a lower LCOE. LCOE means levelized cost of electricity, right?
Yeah.
When it will have a lot of less levelized cost of electricity, so that means they can sell this electricity in lower price as well, correct?
Yeah. Moreover, it's like as the amount is getting lesser, the output will be like low emissions.
Yes.
Gonna happen.
Yes, I'm not using the words of more technical, which is like, I don't know. I think you know, we always call it the CFDs, which is a
Yeah.
market reforms, right? Which drives the market cost, which is the strike price. When any companies comes into the market, they have a strike price, and those strike price actually decides the auction amount, right? How, like, which company will get the utility funds. So those actually strike price and CFDs and investments directly related to the subsidization, and this is also called the climate finance, correct? This comes under climate finance. Plus, when a developed country sends money to a developing country, right? So this is where it's critical. How it will be a grant base on how it will be non-grant base. Sometimes we see that there is a lot of finance comes from developed country to developing country, but they have a debt with those kind of fine. They ask a return in return a lot of you can say not investments, but there is a lot of project that they have to do in terms of just getting those kind of monies. So either way, they're buying it in, and they're using a lot of resource. There is also grant base and non-grant base.
Briefing for the Saikat what already explained.
Yes, please, Amera.
Continue.
Please, Amera, go ahead. Yeah.
No, continue. You're doing great.
Perfect. Yeah, perfect. So this all comes under finance. But also, like, if any company is having some kind of plan that, okay, we should have 4 or 5 number of renewable energies or clean energy tax or nuclear energies, this finance also comes under global financing, right? So there is a lot of financing elements or derivatives that acts towards anything which has been invest into the energy, which is the clean energy. It's under financing, is global financing. So the data actually having all the investment plans, investment targets, already invested or running investments into this into the portal, and the portal gives us a number. Okay, this is the number which has been invested or will be invested afterwards.
Thank you very much, Saikat Das, for sharing this insights with me as well. It gives me much more deeper knowledge about how the climate finance gonna work in, especially in energy sector. Thanks very much.
Also, I'll not go through more deeper, just because we don't have too much of time, but go through this climate bond, which is called the green bonds, which is very, very crucial right now. The green bonds, they're like the green credits, carbon credits in terms of financing in energy too. So those are kind of words we'll go through afterwards. But of course, for now, I think if you can just go through those definitions, you'll understand what exactly it means.
Okay, thank you so much. I will definitely go through it.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, exactly. I'm briefing for what Saikat already explaining. If we talk about the climate game, it's like when we have triangle have 3 lines. The main line is climate issues, and the other 2 main lines, one of them is finance and other is the political. So it's a political and finance. We can speak about climate issues, we can speak about any investment, we can speak about any just transition for any sector without speaking about finance, without speaking about politics. So we have to make it in our mind when we speak about anything of art in any paragraph of articles in the Paris Agreement. You will find a finance as a term in these articles. So finance is impressive and a very important pillar when we speak about in any climate issue.
Thanks, Amera. Amazing. You actually jot down the information into a proper diagram, which is very, very, very useful for our brain to imagine. I think there is Youth for Climate Change organization who had raised hands. Yes, perfect.
Thank you so much. I want just ask, what is the difference between COP28, COP29, and COP30 in terms of energy transaction efficiency?
Okay.
How do you compare these two?
So, very nice question. Can you mute actually your? I can hear my voice. Perfect. Yeah, thanks a lot for the question. So, in terms of efficiency, in COP28, we have to understand in COP28 we have the first global stock take, and the global stocktake in paragraph 28, the point E says, the paragraph E says that we should have E or F. I really forgot, but yeah, it should be like the paragraph 28 E says that we should have the double efficiency, like doubling up the efficiency. For before answering the question, it's really like amazing, people here. I really want to know how much efficiency we are talking about. So if we have been talking about tripling of renewables, doubling of efficiency for 3 years now, and we all are working or practitioners in energy, how much of efficiency we are talking about here? Anyone knows about it? It's just an example. It's really small.
For me, I don't know.
Perfect. So when we say doubling of efficiency, that means previously we had only 2%, and right now we are talking about 4%. So we need 4% of up, like 4% up the efficiency. It's not just we need only 4%. We need 4% up the efficiency, right? So when we talk about the efficiencies and when you talk the reforms, the difference between COP28, COP29, and COP30 is only the advocacies. So in COP28, we have called upon that we need to upgrade the efficiencies. And when we have the global stocktake, this is where after 2 years, we have to submit the NDCs, right? So this year, I think nearly 64 NDCs has been submitted. And when the stocktake was done, every country has been asked that, okay, what will be your target and how you will match your NDCs that has been submitted, or that your long-term documentations or long-term policies, every nation has LTEDs. So LTEDs says how to include it and how we will enhance it. So this is where we put forward in COP29. In COP29, there in Baku, the action agenda point was not the draft decision. The action agenda point was the grid stabilization, like increasing the grid, funding the grid, and also the storage, grid and storage, right? So this is this link with our efficiency. And in COP30, what we had phasing out of fossil fuels. That was really a big item. Funding. We understood that we need a lot of fundings, like 2.85 or 1.3 or near about 11 trillion by all the numbers what we can put forward, but we need funding for grid stabilization, we need funding for storages, we need funding for renewable energies. So this is where we are coming from. And the NDCs which has been submitted right now, I would really love everyone to go and see the NDC synthesized report of this year, 2025. So the NDC synthesized report says, I think 44% of NDCs that has been submitted only included renewable plans, like renewable energy investments and expansion plans. 78% of it says that, okay, the renewable energy projects that has been submitted or they have been going on are on the go. So there's a lot of numbers, but for this NDCs has which should be ambitious, which should have a proper trajectory. All the decisions has been taken are being submitted this year. So this is the difference. In the stocktake, we saw that what has to be done. In COP29, we saw what is what are the gap, and in COP30, all the countries has to submit the NDCs with having that kind of trajectory in their heads, and in their policies, in the document, the NDCs, that okay, how we will get this 2% to 4%. So this is the difference between the efficiencies. We can say this is at like my knowledge of technicalities. I always break it down, and I think this is how we understand more. I think someone else was having a hands up as well. If not, then we can move ahead with more in depth. And right now, people don't die. It will be like literally boring, but it will be really interesting how the policies are being shifted. Anyone wants to speak?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, sir.
Yes, please. I'm Saikat. No, sir. Please.
Yes,
if the queen
Saikat.
gives me, yeah, if the queen gives me the sir, so of course definitely you'll see like Sir Saikat, but right now just Saikat.
Sorry about that. Hi, I'm
Hi.
Letitia from
Hi, Letitia.
Uganda, and my question is, how can climate finance help rural communities like access the clean energy? Because, okay, according to the discussion, I'm seeing like we are catering for urban or developed like countries or areas only. So how can we cater for the rural areas also to receive the clean energy from the climate finance?
Okay, so this question is very interesting question just because I will not just answer this question, but I will open this question as a paradox. As I'm a man of paradox. I love paradox, right? So I'll give two face of the coin, right? So two face of the coins of COP negotiations. Most of the time, we always really irritated that why the communities, why the projects on the ground are not simply get funded, simply get supported, where the funding can be just relocated or transferred to them. Why it is so difficult to get those kind of initiatives on the table and make things happen. And then of course we also have other questions that why the developing countries and the developed countries have too much of reforms and political geo fencings in terms of negotiations, in terms of just not economic but socio-economic aspect as well. For giving the answer of you, first of all, the answer is really simple. Do we know about our national policies? How many of us knows about the national funding routes, the national funding policies, the LTDs, which is the long-term low emission documents that we have? Every nation, do we know that every nation has the LTDs? And you can change those LTDs, you can get funding from LTDs as well. How many of us knows what are the initiatives that government is running? So this is the first step that we have to understand. Then we have to connect with the NGOs and CSO, civil societies. Those have direct contacts and direct connection with those fundings, because those fundings are given by to some big civil societies or NGOs, and those NGOs actually then disseminates and give away to small fundings to those initiatives. So first of all, understand your nation, your policies. And first of I like from here sitting here, if you tell me your country's name as well, I can literally find what are the initiatives you have. So it's as simple as that. The initiatives, which are the civil societies or NGOs that are running these initiatives, and how you have to apply for them. This is simple, right? Second, why this kind of initiatives are not getting proper funding and proper you can say focus into broader scopes like COP, broader scopes like international negotiations. So understand, when we talk about international negotiations, there are a lot of derivatives that has to see. So if any country get funding, there are several other countries that should get funding as well, right? So they get it's country wise, it's country wise funding, it's country wise negotiations, it's country wise agenda that we see. So that is where the COP is. We always get frustrated that the COP is like, we don't get any proper tangible outcomes from COP, we don't get any tangible outcomes from these funding initiatives, but we are getting it. So when we have this kind of conference where COP is there, all the countries are coming, at least we are getting something somehow, and we have to push forward every time. Every year we have to have some kind of ambition, we have to have the targets, and we have to show them that okay, this is the change that we can make. Because when the parties or the negotiators will understand the pain of on ground people, on ground initiatives, like for example in Nigeria, in a small town or a small village, in a house, a woman is having difficulty of breathing because they have to cook food in pollutant, like a conventional way, like a charcoals or wood, which having a indoor pollution, like I think 4 million premature death happens every year with this interpollutions. But if we are not there in the COP to tell them that what kind of difficulties that are facing, and it is really easy. Just give us the funding with a lot of initiatives. We will make sure that these initiatives gets funding, and of course, that woman gets a clean cooking parameter, or like clean cooking process as well from that NGO or something. So this is what happens. So COP is important, but also like it is important for yourself to understand your process, like the national process as well. If I can give you all the
Just
answers.
yeah, just maybe I can add something else in the perspective of NDCs or the national determined contributions. You can also go through the UNFCCC website. It's full of any versions of NDC for each country. You can explore your country NDC. And also for the point of building partnerships or taking a fund from developing to developed countries. Till now, there is like kind of clear implementation for these funds. So that is make it a little hard to be implemented, in its need more transparency to make sure that this fund go to the direct way and the right way. But somehow there is informal partnerships that happened during COP between non-governmental parties, like between stakeholders to pass technology from developing to developed countries, and the opposite. And also somehow there is partnerships and fundings that coming through this way. Maybe it's not governmental way or formal way into the maybe loss and damage fund, for example. But somehow this is partnership would be impressive and and under the umbrella of the government, but it's not governmental. So I hope it's clear for everyone that is funding is not like from the boxes or the loss and damage fund or something like this. There's other funds that go through during the COP. It's this we called it like behind partnership, behind the scene partnerships. And it's very important for private sector especially to make these partnerships.
Yeah, perfect. Also, like, for example, like the CSRs, right? Most country have like very strict CSR rule. Every public companies should at least invest 2% of their revenues to green growth or public like low emission projects or initiatives or something like this. So every government or public companies has to at least invest 2 to 5% of their revenue. So this is also great that if you have an initiative, just directly contact them that okay, I know that you have to invest your CSR fund. If the fund is not invested, can I know like where you have invested? It is also a good example.
Yeah.
Perfect. So let's go towards more in depth with the decisions, right? So yes, the main outcomes of negotiations with the key focus area. Interesting, people. So right now it's getting interesting. Let's see. First of all, in energy, we have to always run side by side with mitigation, adaptation, finance, Article 6, global stocktake. But mitigation is the most pressing one, just because energy actually, we don't have any proper negotiation track in COP. So you cannot see any negotiation specific track on energy reforms or energy transition, but there is just transition, there is mitigation. So mitigation is one of the main area, right? Main aspect. So there was an acknowledgement done in mitigation area, right? So the acknowledgement was significant, where the collective progress towards Paris Agreement temperature goal has been done. If you see the mitigation aspect, this mitigation aspect is covered into the Mutirão decision. So the decision, which is the final draft decision, in this decision, the mitigation aspect has been covered by what exactly it was covered in paragraph 8. It is covered that, let us like read through the paragraph, and then I'll explain what exactly it says. Acknowledges that significant collective progress towards the Paris Agreement temperature goal has been made from an expected global temperature increase of more than 4 degrees according to some projections prior to the adoption of agreement, to an increase to the range of 2.3 to 2.5 degrees, and a blend of emission curve based on the full implementation of latest NDCs, while noting that this is not sufficient to achieve the temperature goal. So let's break it line by line. So right now, all of the parties globally acknowledges the fact that, okay, the trajectory right now with all the Paris Agreement reforms, all the policies, all the global policies, all the parties that has been submitted previous, like the previous NDCs, all the things right now is increasing more than 4 degrees. So if you see a trajectory, like if you see a graph, right, and the graph in the right hand side, it says to 2050, which is net zero. So we are not actually going to net zero. There is a difference of 4 degrees right now with current policies, with the business as usual, to the degree, to the curve that we supposed to go in 2050, right? And they acknowledged it. And they also said that, okay, the prior trajectory, where when the Paris Agreement was adopted in 2015, at that time it was 2.3 to 2.5 degree difference, right? So the difference was only 2.5. Right now the difference is 4 degrees. So everyone acknowledged. And right now the NDCs that has been submitted, which is like nearly 64 NDCs as well, are not properly in the path of net zero as well. So everyone acknowledged that. And in any policies or any document that we can make, we can actually refer this policy as if all the countries has acknowledged it, so that means you have to do something about it. So if you have any demands, if you have any projects, you can actually directly link that project with this reference. Second, decided. So decides means a really active and implementation verb, right? So there's a decided. It has been decided that I'll launch the Global Implementation Acceleration, a cooperative, facilitative, and voluntary initiatives under the guidance of presidency of CMA7 and CMA8. What is CMA7 and CMA8? So the seventh session under Paris Agreement, which is the COP30, and the 8th session under Paris Agreement is COP31, right? So which is the next COP. So CMA7 and CMA8. Everything which is CMA7, sorry, yes. So CMA7 to CMA8. COP30 to COP31 will be CMA7, and COP31 to COP32 will be CMA8, right? CMA is nothing but minutes of meeting and all the agenda, like the number or the document name or whatsoever what you can say. So it's just the document name, CMA7 and CMA8. So the presidency of like COP30 and presidency of COP31 have to accelerate this implementation across 1.5 degrees to reach, and also to support the countries to implement the NDCs and national adaptation plans. So the NDCs which has been submitted has to be more aggressive and more ambitious, and there should be an implementation acceleration plan, global, which should cooperative, facilitative, and voluntary. So there is not mandated one, it's a voluntary one initiative. So and the guidance of COP30 and COP31 would be there. This is as clear. So paragraph 41. So if you want to do anything related to any cooperative facilities, which is like projects, initiatives, or any kind of reforms, you can actually refer this paragraph. That okay, this paragraph says it has been decided and that has been launched. So we want to go and we want to support and we want to be inside the Global Implementation Acceleration Plan, where our facilities, our voluntary initiatives will be supporting XYZ country, and it will be minimizing the gap of 4 degrees, and we will keep 1.5 degrees alive within the reach. So this is what the significance is, right? Second, it's same under mitigation. The mitigation is still running. Irreversible transition to low emissions. What exactly it means? They acknowledge. So it's not decisions. They acknowledge that, okay, they says that, okay, yeah, we acknowledge that. It's a really low active verb in terms of policies. It's not action verb, It's just regard verb, like, acknowledgements. That the global transition away towards low greenhouse gas emission and climate resilience development is irreversible, and the trend of the future, whatsoever, paragraph text. What exactly it means? You remember that we had a situation of fossil fuel phase out, right? So in the fossil fuel phase out, we had a situation that 80 countries are saying that we need it. Some of the countries are telling that we don't need to write this fossil fuel phase out into the text. So this is what the text has been converted, which is really like ambiguous, very, very outbounded, open-ended, no long-term, no short-term goals. And because just to show that, okay, they are supporting, but they're not saying that they will do it, this is the line text that has been considered, that they will do. They acknowledge that global transition towards low greenhouse gas emissions and climate resilience development is irreversible, and the trend of the future is needed. That's it. And last but not the least, there is also an action point which most of the people are not discussing it. So in SB64, right, they request the subsidiary bodies, which is the SBTI and Substa, to hold a dialogue. So they should hold a dialogue. So in next year's subsidiary bodies, there will be a dialogue to consider opportunities, challenges, and barriers in relation to enhancing the international cooperation. That means this year we also had that was also an action point. I really forgot to mention the international cooperation. That means the trade conflicts, the trade measures. So from country A to country B, how we can minimize the trade conflicts, how can we enhance the cooperation between the trade, international measures, so this kind of roles. So it also comes under just transition. It also comes under energy, because of course the energy trades, the critical minerals, the supply chain managements, and everything comes under this. So there will be a dialogue next year in SBs, and it will be really interesting to see like how things goes on and how they enhance the barriers, the challenges, the opportunities. And you can actually put forward some kind of document as well to UNFCCC or your countries, or maybe in broader aspect in subsidiary bodies, that okay, these are the trade conflicts that we are seeing, and we need some kind of reforms, or we need some kind of demands that has to be enhanced from us. So the dialogue, just engage with the dialogue, I guess. So, and there are more, but less time to include. Lonwin, can you mute yourself, please? Thank you. So the UAE Just Transition Work Program, very crucial as well, Just Transition Work Program, but we will cover a small section of the Just Transition Work Program. But also there is another one, Sharm el-Sheikh Mitigation, Ambition and Implementation Work Program. Those decisions are really crucial. So I cannot cover all the things here. We will do a second session for Belém Political Forum. At that time, we will cover each and every sessions, because we have to also make the scenario. So this is making the scenario, and then of course we will go more in depth. Just Transition highlights. What happened in Just Transition Work Program? They're very crucial, right? So the Just Transition has established a mechanism, which was, you can say, Belém Action Mechanism, BAM, or you can say Just Transition Mechanism. But kudos to every civil societies who gave their time, who gave their efforts. I was on ground, and all the time there was BAM, Belém Action Mechanism. Can internationals, DCJs, and other societies, YOUNGO as well, our Just Transition Working Group as well. Amazing work effort they did, and actually we got something out of it. So that's the establishment of Just Transition Mechanism aims to provide a framework for equitable transition in various sectors, ensuring the shift towards greener economy benefits all community, especially those who affected by the climate change and industrial transition. What this means? That means we say, yes, let me give you an example, which maybe I'll be in the center of discussion for that, but I don't mind for this discussion if it's practical. So according to me, see, we say fossil fuel lobbyist everywhere, right? We don't want to bring them, we don't want to contact them, don't want to speak with them, we want to exclude them from everywhere. But I think if we can include them and we can say what is the benefit of going into an economy with low fossil fuel economy or low emission economy, low carbon, zero carbon economy. This is where we can make them understand that what happens, right? But those lobbyists are not directly been benefited from being inside the fossil fuel industry. Those were the industry directors, or maybe the owners, or maybe the industry investors, or the people who invest in the industry should be said as the lobbyists, right? But the workers who actually work for those companies are working for just for food, for shelter, for basic needs, right? So if there is a change in the economy, who will get affected? The big lobbyists will not get affected. That means the investors, not like the big investors, the company owners, no, they already get money and they will they will change the company, or they change the product or whatsoever. But who will get affected? The workers will get affected, the miners will get affected, the low income people will get affected, the average income people will get affected. So we have to do something about those people, a capacity building, at transitioning away funding. So there should be a fund which covers all the trainings from a blue economy to a green economy. So this is where it comes, right? The just transition mechanism. So what it says decide. So if you can see the para here, it says decides to develop a just transition mechanism, the purpose of which will be enhance international corporations, so that we can send one team to other team, and we can actually bring some skills from developed countries, or maybe the countries who are doing amazing in terms of transferring the skills, technology, technical assistance, capacity building, knowledge sharing, enable equitable, inclusive just transition, noting that the mechanism to be implemented in manner to build on complement relevant work streams. So that means it should complement all the work streams that we have, conventions for the Paris Agreement as well, and under the work streams. So Paris Agreement have several work streams, literally, like just transition work stream, finance work stream. So those also have to build some kind of components, that so that everyone can work together and actually help each other. Otherwise, imagine those workers, those people who actually work for their food, for their family. What should they do? So this is where it comes, and you have to also include them, as we are youth, we are intergenerational, so we should also include the intergenerational equity into our policies. And you can also refer this policy. Enhancing international cooperation and capacity building. The mechanism emphasizes that we should have necessary skills and support the thriving new industries. So if the industry that we are working and they don't give us a green skills or green whatsoever, no one can define the green skill till now. What is green skill? No one knows it. We need a proper definition for green skill. We need a proper definition for skills which can be transferred from one industry to other industries. A collaborative approach where resilience and adaptability should come towards with the community, where the community is facing a lot of issues in shifting from a coal economy to a greener economy, or this kind of stuff, right? So we need proper support, and this is where we can actually vouch and we can actually have our advocacy. This is where we should know that economy doesn't runs alone, it runs with social aspect. So we have to include this social aspect as well, right? Thanks a lot, everyone. Thanks a lot. Now let's move on to adaptation, right? Can anyone tell me difference between mitigation and adaptation? It's been a long time I've been speaking. So anyone, what is mitigation? What is adaptation?
Go ahead, guys. Take the initiative and open your microphone. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, it's based on my understanding, it's just simple. Mitigation is prevention, while adaptation is the process of mitigation is prevention, just like to put measures in order to prevent certain events from happening, while adaptation is coping to the challenge after it happens, just like before and after.
Okay.
So that is my understanding.
Okay, perfect. So according to you, it's prevention and adaptation. Okay, perfect. Anyone else?
Sir, basically mitigation is a measures through which we prevent the like any action or disaster.
Mm-hmm.
And adoption is a process through which we mitigate we mitigate it.
Okay. Anyone else? Leticia, sorry.
Yeah. According to me,
Yes, yes.
mitigation,
Mm-hmm.
like taking actions to reduce or like prevent climate change. Anyways, in that context, for example, by lowering the greenhouse gas emissions or increasing the carbon absorption, and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So then, like for adaptation, okay, like actions all taken just to adjust the effects of climate change.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's according to me.
So for all of us, if we have an example that restoration of mangroves, what is it? Is it a mitigation or adaptation?
Pardon, sir?
Restoration of mangroves in a high tidal zone or tsunami zones. What is it? Is it a mitigation or it's an adaptation?
It's a mitigation.
Okay, it's a mitigation. It's a mitigation from Abhinav as well. Okay, others?
I think it's mitigation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so right now the problem of tides are still there, correct? So there's a lot of tides, or maybe like there's a lot of tsunamis which comes, but we set up some kind of mangroves. We increase the mangroves. We increase the area of mangroves, and right now, is it not that we are adopting ourselves? We have the mangroves, so we adopt ourselves. So see, if you go with definition, you will always be very, very confused, right? Because it is also
Okay.
adaptation, it is also mitigation, but in the perspective of which,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, exactly. I just wanted to add something in this point. If we speak about a problem, if we speak about how can we reduce the causes or the reasons of this problem or this issue, it's a mitigation more than be adaptation. So if we focus on the problem itself, and in another hand, if we trying to adapt to be have a life with this problem, with this effects of this problem or impacts of this problem, it's a kind of our adaptation with this problem. I hope it's clear right now.
Yes, perfect. So see, it's simple as that. So in terms of the tides, in terms,
Hope my voice is clear.
yes,
already.
Amira. Yeah, it was really clear. It was really clear. We saw. Thanks a lot. So as a term that if we see, as per the tides, we did some kind of mitigation, but as per the mangroves,
Did you hear me? Did you hear me? Because I was speaking and I think my network was going.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
But as per the mangroves, it's a benefit to us as well, right? And as Anirudh said, as a co-benefits, it's an adaptation. But as per the tides, as per the situation, it's a mitigation. So this is how it's tricky sometimes. Basically, when we are directly focusing to the origin of the problems, origin of the problem is mitigation. When we are trying to solve the problem with solving the origin plus, like we are trying to solve our scenario, it is adaptation. For an example, we are in a boat. I always give this example. People who knows me who know that, okay, if we are in a boat and we have a hole in the boat, If we are trying to fix that fix that hole, it's mitigation. If we are trying to put away the water with the bucket from the from the boat, it's adaptation. So we are adapting, but we are also like trying to solve the problem, but also like we are adapting on it. So it's simple as that.
It's 6 and 9 dilemma, guys. Like you saying like 6 and I saying like 9.
Yeah.
It's something ridiculous.
So it's yeah. So you have to see in which perspective, in which dependency is the benefit, like who is benefiting, right? So this is what it is. But thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. So yes, let's go to the adaptation right now. So for the adaptation, the Belém indicators has been set. Can you can anyone? Yes, Abhinav, if you have a question, yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, it's like you have mentioned about the lobbying of fossil fuels companies and everything you have mentioned about. So it's like, can I just ask you how the greenwashing is making all our efforts into vain?
What is greenwashing, by the way, like according to you?
Yeah, for me, it's like there are plenty of efforts that has been. It's a kind of a manipulation, you know. It's a kind of a manipulation, telling to the customers from the different companies like, okay, this is their product is environment friendly, and actually it is actually it's not environment friendly. It's environment not environment friendly. It's disaster in terms of or making bad effects on the environment, those products. So actually that is greenwashing. So my doubt is like how these kinds of although like plenty of companies are saying that okay, they are doing a lots of programs for the welfare of the environment from just after every COP. So my question is like, still the greenwashing still exists over here. So how can how much role does it have towards our efforts to make our environment much more clear?
So I'll give you live examples, right? Live examples is there's a company which is like a really good company which provides direct inputs to the indices, correct?
Yeah.
So that company is investing since 2 years and 3 years. They have shown that they have invested a lot of money into a forest restoration or a mangrove restoration.
Okay.
Like thousands of acres. So this restoration money has been directly went for managing and executing those kind of forests, and they have also recorded their funding, recorded their implementation into the books of NDCs, right? So the entire nation has a data, and globally they have also had data that okay, they have minimized XYZ gigatons of carbon, or teratons of carbon a year, correct? So that means in the carbon budget that we have, the global carbon budget that we have, we have a minimize that proper carbon every year just because the project was been done
successfully. Yeah. Okay.
And then we have a net zero target. That means in the target we have a data that okay, we only have to minimize required gigaton minus XYZ gigatons, right? Just because that has been minimized by the company, which is like a very big company, and they already minimized it. So according to the data, the entire policy shifts, the entire the graph and trajectory shifts, just because we don't have this XYZ data into our policies as well. According to us, it's been done. And of course, in the finance that you asked the question, in this finance we will also have the overall finance. And in overall finance, we will see that okay, this company has invested 2 trillion per year, or maybe 2 billion per year to minimize this emission. So that means we also have a finance data, and this data is showing we covered the NDCs and we covered like climate finance. But after a few years, we got to know that there was no funding done, just because it's a natural forest. It's a rainforest. It grows anyway. You don't need any management. You don't need any people. And there was no people. There was no people as well. There was nothing. No funding was done, right? Because from the satellite we are seeing always green. So we thought, okay, it must be done. So this is where the greenwashing came. And what was the repercussion? Repercussion is the data was wrong. The policies was wrong. The financing data was wrong. And overall, we are not going to a net zero just because we still have that XYZ gigaton to be minimized, which was wrongly quoted or double quoted.
Okay.
Right? So,
okay.
Yeah. So this is how it goes in a very broader, in many ways you can relate the same example, but this is a like practical example that happens.
Okay, that's nice. Thank you very much.
No worries. Thanks a lot, Abhin. So yeah, in adaptation indicator, we had more than, I think, nearly 600 indicators before, in I think last year in SBs or in COP, like in last year COP or SBs, I really forgot, when the adaptation, adaptation global goal of adaptation indicators were been discussed. So we had like over 600 indicators, and then it was minimized. I think last year it was minimized to nearly 500 something, and then it was minimized to 100 and something. And right now they have 59 indicators, which are official indicators, which has been decided, right? 59. Many countries, including China, so they did official complaints that they cannot print the pages, just because printing over 600, over 600 pages or over this kind of like 600 indicators is very inefficient as well. So imagine this kind of complaints was also like held on. So yes, after those indicators have been submitted, and right now we have like nearly 59 indicators, if I'm not wrong. I'm not as specialized in adaptation, but few of the adaptation things comes under energy, so that's what we will discuss, and also comes under the Global Mutirão discussion. So adaptation, so those are aligned, the goals have been set, international agreements has been set, and the tracking of adaptation will be done over time. So this is what happened in Belém adaptation indicators, correct? Nothing much to be from this sentence, but of course there will be tracking. So when they say tracking, so there will be dialogues, there will be reportings, and there will be other mechanism and framework that we will be expecting from next SBs and next COPs. Very interesting that there was an adoption of 2 years policy alignment done, which is called the Belém Addis version. Why it is called Addis? Anyone? Why it is called Belém to Addis? Why it was called Baku to Belém 1.3 roadmap? Why it was called? Yes, Calvin.
Yeah, I think it is called Belém to Addis because the next COP after Austria, it will be in Addis Ababa.
Nice. Yes, exactly. Simple as that. Most of the policies in UNFCCC has the name of those places, like a Paris Agreement, right? UAE consensus. They always try to like advertise themselves. Whoever have the COP, so it's easier. So Belém to Addis version will have compromised 2 years policy alignment, which will have the experience of the parties for testing the indicators. So it's really amazing to see that paragraph 11 and paragraph 12 of Global Mutirão decision says testing. So that means the world will be a guinea pig and they will test on. I'm just joking. There will be scenarios that will be implemented, and the scenarios will go through some kind of tests, and those tests will be then put forward as a report after 2 years, and then there will be a technical work in SB and Substa, which will be aiming towards developing the guidance and operationalizing these indicators. Because without testing and without having an hit and trial process, you cannot get the guidelines. So the testing process will be for 2 years of those indicators, the 59 indicators, right? And yeah, the same goes, like, aligning the process in parties overall next 2 years, and collaborate with all the operationalized adaptation strategies to put forward a best practice. Simple. Now let's go and move towards the elephant in the room. What was the elephant in the room this year? Anyone?
Everyone in the room.
Hmm? Anyone knows, like, what was the major discussion happened? What was the major thing happened in? I already discussed here, but I called it as an elephant in the room.
Can I just guess?
Mm-hmm.
Is that related? Is that a fossil fuels phase out or something?
Okay. Fossil fuel. Thanks, Abhinav.
Okay.
Let's see. And Mrinali?
Yes. I
Mutirão,
think, you know,
Mutirão discussion.
What?
Mutirão discussion.
No, the overall the discussion which we are doing, it is the Mutirão Global Compact, the draft decision. This draft decision comprises of all the decisions that we spoke around. But in this Mutirão draft decision, the final text, there was two discussion which was like getting fire. Like, that was the main agenda point, which was getting a lot of backlash from everywhere. So this is what the elephant in the room says. Anyone else? Thanks, Mrinali. Yes, Calvin.
Yeah, I can give it a guess. Maybe something to do with the operationalizing of adaptation fund.
Adaptation plan. Okay. Then let's see what exactly it says. In the Mutirão decision, we had a difficulty of including the fossil fuel phase out, fossil fuel economy, the fossil fuel world. It was really nice, Abhinav, that you put forward. And there was other roadmap. Yes, and there was another roadmap, which was the forest and climate roadmap. And it was halt and reverse, which to be put forward as it should stop all the deforestation, and it will deforestation, and it will then reverse the deforestation as an afforestation, right? So this was the two main discussion points, initiation, that was put forward and heavily advocated by the Brazilian presidents to develop two roadmaps. And the roadmap for transitioning to the fossil fuel free economy for just an orderly and equitable manner was not included properly as a phase out. It was not included as a phase out. So this is what happened. If someone says what were the two backlashes that happened, it was the forest and climate roadmap and the fossil fuel phase out roadmap. Yes. So climate finance. I'll not go too deeper, but yes, we have to understand what exactly that climate finance is. There's a lot of slides, but I'll try to minimize the slides as soon as possible. But whichever is crucial is crucial. So the scaling of climate finance, very important that we were aiming for 1.3 trillion annually by 2035, which was the Baku to Belém roadmap, and it is effectively adopted in the sense acknowledged, because 1.3 trillion was already already emphasized in Baku. So it has been properly emphasized and ensured that effective climate actions and support will be taken for this kind of practices. And so the difference between 1.3 trillion and 300 billion that was adopted in NCQG last year is 1.3 is inclusive of private and public funding, right? It has all the private and public funding, and in 300 billion, it is only the parties will provide, like the public funding. The parties will provide, the developed nations will provide the developing countries 300 billion per year. But this USD 1.3 trillion is the investments, is including the investments, including the funding, it's including the grant base, including the climate bonds, everything per year. Right, so this is the difference. Most of the people confused, but this is as simple as it. Adaptation finance. In adaptation finance, they have came with the decision that, okay, we need to triple the adaptation finance. But most of the countries were very confused by what exactly the funding baseline is. Like, what is the baseline? What is the finance stands for? Like, how much finance you are talking about with keeping a proper baseline? From which year? We know that it has to be do the tripling by 2035, but from which year? What would be the baseline? What exactly the funding stands for? So that was the coup of the strategy that happened. So the roadmap towards SB64 and COP31 is very, very synchronized as per me. But before that, I would try to open the floor. That is it too much of information, or I should leave it? Everyone, thanks, Mrinali. Rohit, thanks a lot, Rohit. Thanks, AJ.
Yeah.
Perfect. We are good. Calvin. Perfect.
Good information. Okay.
Thanks, Margaret. Thanks, Suraj. Rabia as well. Oh, I can see Rabia. Thanks, Rabia, for being here. So yes, initiative launch, the Global Implementation Acceleration, and Belém mission of 1.5. Belém mission of 1.5 means keeping the 1.5 degrees alive. This is not billion and trillion. This is degrees Celsius, 1.5 degrees Celsius, right? So those are the initiatives that has been launched. Simple as that, right? Which will support directly the NDC. So if you say what are the difference between other initiatives and these initiatives, the other initiatives will indirectly or directly support, but these two initiatives, which is the Global Implementation Accelerations. So what are the implementations has been highlighted in the NDC, they will accelerate it, right? In other ways, in financing, in collaborations, in partnerships. And then, of course, we have to keep 1.5 degrees alive. So that means we acknowledge that we need to be very strategic with the NDCs because we have a gap of 4 degrees, if you remember, that we spoke about before. Focus on implementation, so emphasize on the role of interpretations and execution of decisions made in COP30, particularly in global. So whatever we spoke about, it was Mutirão draft decision, right? So that means we have to emphasize on the role of implementation, interpretation, execution from this Mutirão draft decision. This was also a focus implementation, which will be discussed in SB64 and COP31. Stakeholders. Key engagement of youth and key engagement of dialogues to ensure the voice which get affected are also important. So you have to put forward your voice in any manner. This is also an important, crucial aspect for being one of the member of any civil societies or NGOs or whatsoever, right? Monitoring the progress. In SB62, we have to monitor the progress, what happened in COP and what has been done within 6 months. Is any sorry, if any of the just a second. So if any of the implementations, initiatives, and collective reforms that has been taken in the Global Mutirão has started or not started, why it's not started. So those kind of progress has to be monitored, and it will be monitored by biennial transparency report, BTRs, ETFs, and other progresses as well. Preparation for COP31, definitely. So we have to gain insights for SB64. See, COP is not the process. COP is the only process. Sorry, COP is a process which coincides, collects, merge, mix all the reforms, whichever has been taken for entire year together, right? So the entire year's conferences, political situations, your involvement is crucial to gain a proper word inside the text in the COP. So you have to always understand, prepare for COP31, but not just prepare for COP31. You prepare for COP31 looking into implementations in various events, like there is UN, AGA, UNGA, UNGA, General Assembly, you have ECOSOC, you have G20, you have G7. So those Davos, those are actually stepping stones to COP. So try to involve in those stepping stones, and you can get some kind of reforms, some kind of voices until COP31. There's a lot of initiative launched, literally.
Where will it be?
So, anyone wants to say anything?
I was requesting, where is the COP that going to be held?
It's in Turkey right now. So the Australian
Right.
government, the Australia and Turkey will do it, but most of you can say the logistic part is Turkey and the administrative part is Australia, kind of thing, right? So I think we have gone through each and everything right now.
Okay.
International corporations, we already spoke about the international corporations. We have to plan for it. We already spoke about the Belém to Addis vision. We already spoke about it. See, 59 indicators. We already spoke about, yes, tripling of adaptation fund. So the new target was set 120 billion annually dollars, but they don't know what was the baseline, what exactly, like where it came from, 120 billion. They say that these are the indicators, but exactly there was an issue with most of the parties, that what was the baseline, right? And 2 years work program of finance has been included, and it will be included in Article 9, which is sending the funding from developed countries to developing countries in session 7 of Paris Agreement, which is like in COP30 and COP31, which is under the presidency of COP30 and COP31, right? So this is a few of the launched initiatives in COP30. So right now we have to work on it. This is what our plan was for this session. What we got, how we got it, and what we have to do. And I actually try to develop a decomplexifying initiative. So the decomplexifying initiative is how we can adopt and clear the strategies, correct? There was a lot of information, there was a lot of documentations, name, jargons. But one thing I made for you guys, just before 15 minutes, I thought it would be really interesting for you guys to understand in a more very basic manner. That is, in basic means I'm talking about making a cake, right? Easy like a cake. And why I'm talking easy like a cake? Because I made a flow diagram that what exactly the NDCs. So I'm talking the cake as an informed NDC, right? And the bakery is the UNFCCC. So all the chefs are the parties. So that means all the countries, and they have to send cakes to the bakery. That means they have to send the NDCs to UNFCCC. Next NDCs, the informed NDCs, and how it will be made by all the documentations, all the reforms, all the decisions, draft decisions, all the paragraphs that we took. So for an example, I have separated or identified the ingredients as, so the ingredients like milk, other things like flour and fruits whatsoever you can say, are the United Emirates, like UAE Just Transition Work Program. That means if you remember that the work program is just justified when we include everyone we spoke about, right? The Just Transition Work Program, the BAM that we talk about, the Belém Action Mechanism. We have the Just Transition Mechanism, right? So everything is in a basket, correct? Then we have the Sharm el-Sheikh mitigation ambition. So that means the mitigation program that we spoke about, the where we have to get the funding for projects. We have to include all the civil societies initiatives. We have to include the initiatives. We have to include low carbon emission energy reductions, and every decisions that has been taken this year, right? Whichever we discussed in mitigation program, if you remember. Implementation of work program as well. So that means the mitigation work program implementations are the eggs right now, just because it will give us a taste, it will give us more enhanced implementations on the cake. Then we have the NAPs, we have long-term emission targets that we talked about, that every country will have an LTEDs, which is the long-term low emission development strategy. Every country will have NAPs, which is national adaptation plans, right? So this is the bowl, basically. In that bowl, in that plans, in those strategies, we will put those policies, right? Just to mix with those policies. So if you remember, if understand that our country have a policy that we will have low carbon electricity. So this is your NAPS. This is your long term. When it will be long term? Long term is by 2050 we will have 100% low emission electricity. By 2035 we will have 50% low emission electricity. This is the NAPS, and this is the ball, like the red ball, right? We will mix the just transition work program, the just transition mechanism. So that means we will say we will have capacity building, we will have funding, we will have initiatives for all the workforce. We will have initiatives for all the projects that is ongoing and that was ongoing to go green, right? To transfer them from blue economy to green economy. So that means I in the bowl I put for the milk, I put for the flowers and everything, which is the just transition. And then what we are missing, we're missing the egg. Egg is the implementation of work programs. So that means we will implement the work programs, like we will have to mitigate other, like we have to mitigate the fundings. So that means from where the funding is coming, we have to like the subsidiaries, like from where we will get the finances, from where we will get the workforce, from where we will get the critical minerals. Everything comes under this mitigation work program. So we are mitigating the program, right? So we put forward. But right now you can see the steerer, right? So the steerer here, I have given a red line. Why I've given a red line? We can mix it by hand, but no, we will mix it in a blender, which is the global implementation acceleration. We have to accelerate it. So this is a kind of acceleration that will happen, right? So we'll blend it, and then of course everything will go to the national level and to the parties, which is the oven, right? So that the parties will implement it, accelerate it, and put forward into a documentation, and then we will get an proper cake, which is the NDC. So this is how all the decisions has been taken this year, and the previously decision that was taken will be put forward and create an NDC, which is National Determined Contribution, and that's where all the decisions comes from, and that is the reason it is really crucial. Right now, I think you can understand why these decisions comes from and why these decisions are really crucial in national level and in international level as well. This is what I could have made easier. Like I can make easier more, but I need some more time. Thanks, Milali. From me and Amera, we appreciate that you participated in the dialogue, but most important is whoever joined us, we will get a learning material and documentation package. You don't have to do a lot of researches. We will do for it. We already did it for you. So we have a package. Only the people who have joined us till now will get it. And this package consists of all the draft decisions, all the documents, all the link to Belém Action Mechanism, Belém Political Forums, and also all the articles, news articles, outcomes till now for COP31. So you don't have to do anything. We already have all the things. So you will get it from us. Correct? It's just you have to tag us and say, YOUNGO Energy Working Group is the best. Saikat is the best. I'm just joking. You don't have to do anything. so
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's
by the way, follow us and follow our pages to be updated with our magazine. We will publish soon our magazine about COP30 brief. So keep your mind on our pages and our social media to be directly announced with our publishment.
Perfect. I think
someone raised their hand. Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead.
That is so good. The meeting has been so nice. Congratulations, our presenter.
Thanks a lot, really.
I
will open the floor for. Thanks a lot. I'll open for the floor for like question answer or like cross information, anything you want. Yes, willing.
Thank you very much. We appreciate. I can see you can make the world to be green. Now we have this issue of continuous dialogue, and also we require your assistance, especially when it comes to adaptation of mobilizing adaptation for finance in some countries. Some countries are below the standard whereby you cannot get all the necessary finance or actually the effort to make the work more easier and soft. Otherwise, I appreciate your work and it will assist us very much in this framework. Otherwise, congratulations.
Thanks a lot. Really, really willing. If we can change or we can provide information to at least a one youth or one person, anyone, just not the youth, anyone, we could have changed the mindset. We could have not changed, at least we could have given the information what exactly it has supposed to do. Sometimes we fall into motivation. Sometimes we really lack of information because there's a lot of information everywhere and disinformation basically. You know, like we have information, but morely the disinformations. And right now, if we could have gave like proper information to at least one person, we are really obliged to it. We are grateful that everyone came here, everyone took their time in the Sunday. It's the holiday season. I know that, but thanks a lot for being here. Anyone have any other queries? In the chat, thanks Mahesh, thanks a lot, really appreciate. Thank you, Eden. Yes, Kelvin, please. I really want to share your thoughts. How was it? Like, what do you want to do? Get information. I'll just take more 5 minutes. Don't worry.
Yeah, thank you very much, Saikat, for the amazing presentation. It has been insightful, and I shared with my friends and they have joined. Actually, they have learned a lot, and I see their comments. And it's really amazing, and actually, it's aligning with what I'm planning to do. I'm planning to establish a national youth climate science next year. So I'll be glad if you can come on board. We can work together and share and see on how we can inspire young minds. Because if we can change the young person, we can change the globe, because it all starts with the mind. Then it can trickle down to action. And thank you very much.
No,
Yeah.
thanks a lot, Calvin. Like, we appreciate that you already shared and supported us. Wherever you can share, we are always here to support each other as well. Like, we have a amazing team. We have Amera, we have Rabia Minali. Everyone is working here. Pedro as well. AJ, Ross. Everyone worked. I'm really thankful to everyone. Dimple, as well. Margaret. So I cannot stop speaking. Udit as well. Pritam. Very, very interesting people. Everyone supported each other. So just one request that try to support us by at least sharing in social media, tagging us in the social media, so that it would be easier to us to we don't have too much of social media money to to engage ourselves in this kind of thing. We support each other. So if we get people support us, it's a stepping stone for us as well, so that people can know, at least all the youth, all the children, all the intergenerational people should know about that we are here to support them. And at least in any way, if we can do it, it would be really helpful. So that is the thing.
Hi, Das. It's been a pleasure to be here. Actually, it's first, and thank you so much for sharing such an educative, at the same time it's informative session, which makes sense to me, and good, having a very good, it gives me lots of insights. I'm expecting the package which you have already discussed just now, so that there are some other things for us to have a look on it, which will be really helpful for us as well in the future. And looking forward to your next sessions, and please let us know prior to that. So I'm pretty much happy to support you, as I said before, in the days to come.
Definitely, we are also looking forward for new people, new members, and the existing members, how to engage next year. We have a proper strategy in plan, and we have a huge projects that we started this year, and we have to next year we are doing it double fold or triple fold. So we have a huge things coming on. Before we finish, might be we can have a everyone, if people who are like comfortable, we can actually open the cameras and we can have a photo. Yes, Mrinali?
I have something to say.
Yes, Mrinali, please go ahead.
Thank you. Yes, so thank you very much for Saikat. Thank you very much for conducting this session. Although it's holiday season and although it's a Sunday, you have prepared and conducted for all of us. Thank you very much. And this is your consistency that every month you organized and shared deep knowledge with all of us. With YOUNGO, thanks to YOUNGO Energy Working Group and everyone who is here today. Thank you.
Thanks, Mrinali. Thanks for recognition. Like entire energy working group was in fire this year. Next year, I think it will be in blast. So, so I'm hoping to see everyone as well in the calls. So I request everyone to open the camera. We'll have a like picture, and we will just share the smile to everyone. Share the smile. Amera, can you take the screenshot, please? Or anyone else, can you take the screenshot?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, tell us like before, like literally you have to smile, like, like 1, 2, 3, smile, or say cheese, or say energy or something. Come on.
Oh, okay.
Like say energy, okay?
Okay. Okay. 1, 2. Okay, 1, 2, 3, ready? Yes.
Perfect.
Great.
Thanks a lot.
Good.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Amera. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much. Next time, you tell us.
Have a lovely
Give us-
Christmas.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mahesh. Thanks.
So thank you
Next
and
year, let us know in advance.
see you all next year.
Thanks, Vivek.
Thank you.
Thank
See
you.
you next
Thank you.
year.
Bye-bye.
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 Thank you so much.
Bye.
Rohit, you wanted to say something?
Yes, I wanted to ask something.
Yeah, please go ahead, Rohit.
So I am from India, working as an conservationist in nature field. So recently I've joined YOUNGO, and I'm also working with some climate activists. So I wanted to know if you can help me or give me some information regarding recently there is events happening in Aravali. So if you have any network or I can.
So you joined YOUNGO, right?
Yes, recently I joined
Okay,
YOUNGO.
perfect. So when you join YOUNGO, you'll be Mahesh. Can you mute yourself?
Okay. Hello, Saikat, tell.
Can you?
I am in a railway station. You can tell, no problem. I can hear your voice.
Yeah, but we all can hear your background noise as well. Can you mute, please? Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Yes.
Fourth, please.
Rohit.
Hello.
Rohit, go. So
I'm requesting for the notes.
So Rohit, the thing is when you go for being a part of YOUNGO, the YOUNGO provides you a proper every week email, and that email will consist of all the informations of every sessions or any opportunities or any events which is going on. If you are a part of any working group, that your working group will also provide you all the informations of any sessions which is going on. So try to be into a specific working group that you like it, maybe energy, maybe anything that you like, and that working group will help you in any way.
Okay. No, I just wanted to ask directly that if you have any specific information about the events happening in India, and
you know how many events happens in 1 month. If you
No, I'm not asking about Zoom events. I'm asking about the events of Aravali Hills, and where nature is destructed. So who people are acting as
So the thing is,
So I can
this is
Rohit, that is India problem.
That's a particular country. So in country wise, it's you have to go through the country portals or maybe the NGOs, the country NGOs. We deal with global level, so we deal with the global NGOs and global CSOs as the COP processes. So in country level, you have to see which NGOs work in specific thematics, like conservation, ecology,
Okay.
and other things,
Okay.
and contact with them if they have any plans or something.
Thanks.
Yep. Thanks a lot, Rohit. Perfect. Thanks a lot. Anyone else? If you have any questions, let me know, or else I'll see you soon next year.
Engagement with the other stakeholders. Hello.
So engagement
We
with
have
others.
the issue of
Okay.
Stakeholders, yes.
So engagement
How
with other
can we-
stakeholders will be convenient to you by having some kind of forum. So there are a few forums. So there's a Baku National NGO Forum. You can search online, Baku National NGO Forum. In that forum, there is a lot of CSOs and civil societies. Most important, if you really want to get the civil societies, go to UNFCCC website and see how many civil societies and NGOs from your country participated as a observer. So there's a list in UNFCCC website, whoever has attended, as an observer, as a civil societies or NGOs. So you can actually download the Excel sheet from there, and then you can contact them by email. So they have email IDs to contact.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, Lucia?
Yes, Saikat. I'm kindly requesting for your handles, like social media handles, if possible.
Yes, sorry, I just saw it in the chat. My social media handle is really
Yes.
easier, saikat.co.uk.
Oh,
www.saikat.co.uk.
thank you so,
Yeah,
thank you so much.
perfect. Thanks a lot. Cheers. Thanks, Mahesh. Thank you, AJ. Thanks, Pritham. Thanks, Udit. Thanks, Ross. Thanks, Dimple, for all the logistics. Really appreciate that. And thanks, Amera, for the session, running the session with me. I'll see you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.